In this report, we analyzed beer drinkers of 3 different brands, Corona, Heineken, and Budweiser, but focused our efforts on analyzing Corona. These brands are all strong competitors in the beer brewing industry and occupy a distinct space in consumers' mind. The purpose of this report is to determine which demographic segment and media vehicles we would recommend to Corona to target in both mass and niche markets. To thoroughly analyze demographic segments and media vehicles, we will look at indices and share product users. The table above shows the highest spreads of demographic variables for our 3 competing beer manufacturers. These spreads show which demographic variables we need to further investigate to see which segment within the demographic we need to target. The variable with higher spreads values correlate to more important demographic variables we need to look into. This table shows the 5 highest indices and the specific segments they correlate to for the Corona Extra. Indices are evaluated based on the difference above or below 100. 100 is a benchmark in the evaluation and represents how much percentage above or below that segment is likely to buy or not buy the product compared to the general population. For example, the gender between 18 and 34 segment of Corona Extra has an index of 206, meaning that this segment is 106% more likely than the general population to drink this beer. Indices that have similar value across brands such as gender 18 to 34 could indicate that these segments are just as likely to buy one brand as the other. Indices that have drastically different values such as race could indicate that this segment is more likely to purchase Corona Extra than Budweiser or Heineken. These 2 graphs shows which specific demographic segments more likely to spend Corona Extra in gender and age category. As you can see, men's age between 18 to 34 more likely to buy a Corona product other than any gender and age categories. Those graphs shows what specific demographic segment more likely to buy Corona Extras. For example, home values. People who has home value of between 200,000 and 499,000 more likely to buy Corona Extra than people who has the other home values. For marital status, people who never married have 38.1% market share in the marital status, and people not married has over 50% of market share in the marital status category.
And now we have percent down. In percent down, we see the percentage of users of a specified brand that are from a specified demographic group. Here we see age as the demographic, and we see that 28.5% of total Corona users are between the ages of 25 to 34. We also see their second heaviest users are between the ages of 35 and 44, with around 22% of total Corona users being from that category. We also see that gender is our next one. We see that 52.4% of total Corona users are men between the ages of 18 and 49. And we see that women between the ages of 18 and 49 make up 25.5% of Corona's total consumers. And here we see that Corona has a higher percentage of their consumers coming from the women demographic, whereas Heineken and Budweiser have a smaller percentage of their users coming from that demographic. We also see here marital status. We see that 51.6% of Corona users are currently married, while 38.1% of Corona users have never been married, and 7.9% are now engaged, and 10.4% of Corona users are widowed, divorced, or legally separated. And now we move on to race. 68.5% of Corona users are white, and 67.4% of Corona users consider themselves white only. They also have large percentages in other race and other race multiple classifications, with 18.3% of Corona listing themselves as other race, 21.9% of Corona users consider themselves other race and multiple classifications. We also see here now that we move on to home value, with 32.6% of Corona users having a home value between $200,000 and $1 shy of $500,000. Their second largest demographic within this category is $100,000 to $1 shy of $200,000, with 15% of Corona users coming from that demographic.
Those two tables shows our targeting demographic segment for mass marketing. First demographic group, men in age 18 to 34, has highest index of 206 and higher percentage down of 31.6%. Index of 206, which means this demographic segment has 106% higher interest of buying the product than average population. Percentage down means this demographic category has 31.6 market share in the men and age group. Those two tables show our targeting demographic segment for niche marketing. Niche marketing requires to have a high index and medium or low percentage down. The other category in the race segment, which has high index of 194 and low percentage down of 18.3, which is good candidate for niche marketing. And also the marital status of engaged has high index of 155 and low percentage down of 7.9, which also has a good example for a niche marketing segment.
The media vehicles used for our mass marketing strategy will include the cable television service ESPN, since it has an index of 135 and over 41% of our target users. The second media channel we will be using is the popular website Facebook, since 46% of our consumers frequent this channel. Mass marketing focuses on channels with the highest percentage of users. The media vehicles used for our niche marketing scheme will contain New York Magazine, since customers are 187% more likely to purchase our product. The next channel will be the cable service Fuel TV, because of its high index of 278. Niche marketing tends to focus on the highest index while the percentage of users are lowest.